I opened my mailbox and froze. A bright pink envelope with the HOA seal sat wedged between junk flyers. Inside was a $500 fine labeled Violation, Failure to Attend Mandatory Community Engagement Event. Confused, I scanned the details, only to spot the absurd line, Event Karen's birthday party. I nearly laughed out loud. This had to be a prank. I didn't even know you could be fined for skipping a birthday. I stormed into the HOA office the next morning and found Karen sitting at the front desk like a smug queen on her throne. "You fined me for missing your party?" I asked, holding the letter. Without missing a beat, she said, "Yes, it was filed as a required neighborhood bonding event. Attendance was expected. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama." I stared at her. "It was your birthday," she smiled. "And we posted the notice on the community board. Section 8B of the bylaws allows us to mandate participation in community events." I walked over to the board outside the pool. There it was, wedged between outdated pool hours and a missing cat notice. Community event Karen's birthday bash. Mandatory. That's it. No date, no time, no vote. Later that evening, I texted a few neighbors. Turns out I wasn't alone. James across the street got hit with a $300 fine for leaving early. Mrs. Nguyen, $250 for lack of engagement. Karen had fined over a dozen residents who didn't clap loud enough or smile during her speech. It wasn't a party. It was a power play. I called an emergency board meeting. Karen denied my request. "No cause," she said. "This is a non-issue." She even warned me that multiple violations could lead to additional consequences, including amenity restrictions or lien placement. Lien placement? Over cake and party hats? I realized Karen wasn't enforcing rules. She was creating them. Twisting bylaws, making up policies, and punishing anyone who didn't treat her like royalty. It wasn't about unity. It was control. She thought I'd pay the fine and move on, but she messed with the wrong neighbor. If Karen wanted a fight, I was ready to turn her kingdom upside down. I refused to pay the fine. Within 2 days, I got another notice. Second violation, failure to comply. Additional $150 applied. Karen was doubling down. My pool keycard stopped working. I was locked out of the gym. A neighbor mentioned seeing my name on a non-compliance watch list, pinned inside the clubhouse office. Karen had turned a missed birthday party into a full-blown campaign. I started digging through the HOA's bylaws. Nowhere did it say community events could be made mandatory without a board vote. Karen kept citing Section 8B, but the real Section 8B referred to seasonal landscaping expectations. She was flat out making stuff up. I emailed the HOA board members directly. 2 responded, both privately. One admitted, "I never approved that fine." The other said, "Karen handles those things. She said the board already voted." That was the break I needed. There had never been a vote, no policy, no approval. I compiled screenshots, emails, photos of the event flyer, and copies of my correspondence with Karen. I also created a private group chat with other fined residents. Stories poured in. Someone was fined for missing her dog's costume contest, another for lack of eye contact during community yoga. Karen had turned this HOA into a dictatorship. We wrote a formal letter to demand a community meeting. Karen responded by claiming the request violated HOA tone guidelines and labeled our petition hostile. She even threatened legal action for defamation. One neighbor got a warning for simply liking a Facebook post about it, but Karen's threats didn't scare me. They exposed her desperation. I consulted a lawyer, one who lived 3 blocks over and had his own beef with Karen. He reviewed everything and said, "She's in deep. That fine isn't enforceable. You've got a case." The next morning, I printed 20 copies of the fake birthday fine, highlighted Section 8B, and taped them on the clubhouse door with the words, "If you missed Karen's party, you're next." I wasn't hiding anymore. Karen had ruled this neighborhood through fear and phony rules for too long. But now, people were starting to whisper. Karen really thought I'd roll over and pay a $500 fine for missing her birthday party. But she didn't expect me to read every word of that HOA handbook like it was a murder case. And what I found? Pure gold. There was nothing, not a single line about mandatory social events, let alone a president's birthday. She made it up. Flat out fabricated the rule. So I called an emergency meeting. I printed flyers and slid them into every mailbox on the block. Community meeting HOA abuse of power in bold red letters. That caught attention, especially since I listed out every bogus fine Karen had handed down in the last year. Late to a cookout, skipping her book club, parking too symmetrically. People were pissed. The night of the meeting, my driveway was packed. Folding chairs, camp chairs, people even stood with red Solo cups. I had a PowerPoint on a folding table and started reading the actual bylaws. You could see jaws dropping. Then came the best part, a group chat. Yep, turns out Karen wasn't just fining people, she was trash-talking them behind their backs. One of her board buddies who finally had enough leaked the entire chat. I read it out loud. She thinks she's too good to attend my birthday? Fine her. Let's see if she skips next time. Boom. That line lit the fuse. People were furious. One neighbor asked, "Can we vote her out?" Another shouted, "She needs to go now." And suddenly, we weren't just venting, we were organizing. We set a date. Official, by the book. HOA protocol requires 30% quorum to initiate a vote for removal. We hit 70% by the next day. I watched Karen from my porch as she walked her dog the next morning. She had no idea that the people smiling and waving were also the ones getting ready to drop the axe. And the best part? She couldn't fine us for this, because this time, we were following the rules. The vote was held on a rainy Thursday evening. Fitting, honestly. People showed up with umbrellas, boots, and determination. We had the numbers, more than enough. Karen walked in wearing her usual floral dress and pearls, clipboard in hand, like she still owned the place. She didn't smile this time. She looked nervous. We let her speak. She tried to guilt trip everyone. "I've given my heart to this community," she said, "and this is how you repay me?" Someone coughed. Another rolled their eyes. The room was done with her drama. Then came the vote. One by one, neighbors raised their hands. Some even stood to make it clear. In total, 47 votes to remove her, only 3 against. Karen stared straight ahead like she couldn't believe it. She was officially out. The board appointed a temporary president, someone actually reasonable. First order of business? Reverse every fine she issued without proper basis, including mine. I got my $500 back the same week, but the final blow? That came quietly. 2 weeks later, Karen listed her house. For sale sign in the yard, moving truck in the driveway. She couldn't stand living in a neighborhood that had turned on her. And let's be honest, no one waved anymore. No one cared to. The day she left, I stood on my porch, sipping coffee, watching her pack the last of her boxes. She looked up once. I nodded. No smile, just that look of "you did this." And yeah, I did. What's wild is how peaceful the neighborhood felt after she left. No more bizarre fines, no more fake rules. People actually talked to each other again. Kids played outside without fear of being cited for excessive noise. I got my life back, and so did everyone else. And that's the thing about people like Karen. They think fear keeps them in power. But all it takes is one person with the facts, a little backbone, and a garage full of folding chairs to turn the whole thing around. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.